Welcome to Rangers Radio on the Matchday show, the world's one and only unique live phone-in show for Rangers supporters all over the world. Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Good evening and welcome back to Rangers Radio. Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0. Joining myself back in the show is GB, and the legend is back again, the Bridgeman. GB, welcome. How did you enjoy that game, mate?
Well, I've set a new trend, Robert, as a Rangers supporter. Don't watch the first half and just tune in for the second half to enjoy the highlights of the goals and the see out the game, because unfortunately, mate, I missed all the goals of the first half. But I was pleasantly surprised, mate, to see how well we played in that first half and how well we've seen the result tonight, mate, because it is a fantastic upturn from the weekend, mate, and a pleasure to be on with you lads. I'm sure you will divulge in the game.
Pleasure to have you, mate. Bridgeman, welcome back. Did you enjoy it?
Thank you, Paul, and welcome to it for GB. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I thought, what a difference. Obviously, there are moments in the game because we're sometimes so stupid. And we give the ball away so much. You've heard me moaning about this a lot. But my goodness gracious, the two wingers that we had today were absolutely superb. That young boy, Ant-Man, oh, what a star he's going to be for us. He took me back so many years. We had a player, Orjan Persson, his name was, way back in the hard distant days. And he was like a big blonde fella. And that's what we'll go there with that boy, Ant-Man. Tall, wow, and runs like the wind. Fantastic. Love it. And the young lad, Gazman, again. What did he score? Score one tonight? Two tonight? Something like that? I can't remember.
Two, mate.
Wow. Two. Aye, what a player. He's only in the door, you know. He's only in the door. I think is that the first game he started or the second? That's the second game he started. Wow. There's so much goodness in the team when they play the way they played for most of tonight. They've got a lot of pace in the team and a lot of youngsters running about. And it's great to watch. We look great when we go forward, as long as we're catching the right ball, you know. Some poor passes again from out from the back. But my goodness, our offenders are pretty good. They're good attacking boys, but I like it. No, very, very happy to be here. That was brilliant. I loved it.
Just before we touch on the game itself, we'll go through the first half and then the second half. We'll do the first half for the benefit of GB. But GB, I just want to get your view, mate. Obviously, we were on pre-match, sorry. Just want to get your thoughts on, obviously, the manager's team selection tonight, obviously on the back of what he said at the weekend. Were you surprised by the changes, or was it what you expected?
Surprised, mate. Got to say, very surprised that he went with it. Very happy though. I really do support the decision. Back him 100% on it, because it was needed, badly needed at the weekend. I think he put his trust into certain players, thinking that they would do what was instructed. And he's right. We've seen it for too long, Robert. They just keep falling back into this cycle where, the blame game. It's somebody else's fault. It's no their fault. They done their job, that kind of stuff. And really, really happy to see a freshness to the team tonight, mate. I thought the starting line-up was fantastic. Young Yefty back in the team as well. The boy has always got to show promise. He's showed it in the European nights, so I didn't have any really worries about him. It's just that Russell Martin, I think, still a bit iffy on his defensive qualities. But aye, mate, overall, really happy to see Arms on that right side of midfield, and Ant-Man got his start, and the gas man on the left as well, mate. Just looks so much better, mate. Just looks so balanced tonight as a team for the get-go, mate. So, really, really happy, mate, and it showed for what I've seen in the first half, mate. Totally ripped that team apart, mate.
Well, as you said, right from the get-go, Bridge, I'll bring yourself in. I think initially you could see the intensity was there. There was a bit more energy about us. In the first half, some good play, particularly on the left-hand side, initially by EFD and Gassama. Gassama gets to the bar line, doesn't quite get the power to get a cutback, but it shows the intent early in the game.
Yeah, like your two sides tonight were really good, left and right. I thought, once again, I can't praise the boy enough. Gassama was excellent. The young Ant-Man was superb as well. And the boy playing Aaron's playing at right back this time is a far better player at right back than he is at left back. And of course, Yefty Fitty didn't look as if there was a problem with Yefty at all. But there are areas where we let ourselves down. It's a team game, and teams do that, and things don't go right here or don't go right there. But my goodness gracious, both sides really, really good, really fast attacking, really clever, and the Ant-Man, I think he got in there and made one of the goals, or was involved in one of the goals somewhere, and Gazman scored them. Wow, tell you, just fantastic. And of course, he was involved in the penalty as well. Ant-Man, he was involved with it. I thought it was great. I loved it. I loved watching it. You get a wee bit. I don't know whether we gave that team too much respect, but my goodness gracious, when we get the ball and we wanted to attack and move as a team, it was great to watch. Great to watch. I don't have any problems with it. I'm delighted with the score. And what, by the way, just ask yourself, what a score to go away from Ibrox. You go away with one and you'll think, we should be able to hold them out. 3, we're surely not going to cut away and lose 3 goals or 4 goals away from home. Don't think so. So people would say things like that and think, well, we're home and dry. Good chance to get to the next round. Good chance. Well done, the team.
No, well said, mate. Well said. And as you said, Ant-Man was involved quite heavily. The next kind of bit of play we actually do is down the right-hand side. Aarons plays a ball through the defence. And if you watch it back, you would think that Ant-Man's got no chance of catching it. It looks overhit. But he puts the burners on, gets to the bar line again, digs out a good cross to the back post, and the defender just nicks it away from Gassama. Had it not been there, it would have been a good chance to get a goal. But a good, again, intent showed by the team going forward, and Ant-Man showing the pace that we brought him in for as well. GB, don't know if you've seen that, mate, in the highlights.
Aye, mate, I did. Like it says, you can see what a joy it is to have a proper right-sided winger, isn't it? It's just night and day. And by the way, brave decision starting him. Like I says, the boy's just in the door 2 minutes, but it's good to see. I was a bit sceptical with him because considering where we were buying him for, Robert. To be honest, go ahead Eagles. It doesn't really light up the headlines a bit, but good to see that actually he's got that quality there. And obviously our manager and the backroom team are spotting a player. But like you says, mate, doing that right side, he was. Do you know something like he was just hitting the crosses in for Gassman, and that's all you're asking for. Just go and take a chance, make chances, and we'll ask questions, and that's what happened. And thought Arms as well linked up really well with him, and that the build up to. Well, we'll touch on it with the second goal, but as you see with Dessers as well, just in with the team, back in the side, and he's able to link up really well. I think it was a nice balance tonight, Robert, and one may continue, especially into the first half leading into the second half, mate.
No, certainly. You touched on Dessers there. The game kind of ticked over until the goal came, just short of the 15th minute mark. Good play again by Gassama, stands up the defender, tries to encroach to come forward, plays it inside to Dessers, edge of the box, who takes a great touch towards away from the defender, slides the ball through, and Gassama touch across the defender, not a touch to compose himself, and the third touch, Bridge, is in the back of the net, and Gassama puts his 1-0 up.
Yeah, I think I watched all these plays tonight, and for some case, my mouth was open, my chin was down, going, "Ow, where did this all come from?" Really, Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Your summary there yourself, excellent, absolutely excellent. The teams that they like to watch when they're playing, when they're going forward, and I think Mr. Suter has tonight. He's made me eat my words a wee bit. I thought he was an absolute stalwart at the back for us. Captain's armband on, only a couple of wee slip-ups, but him and the big fella, you can tell us what his real name is, DJ or something like that. They two at the back were quite good, I thought, and I thought maybe Suter responded to having a captaincy in a good way for himself. So well done to him, and well done to their centre half, Magic. And I've said it already, spoke about the two fullbacks going up there, Magic, and the midfield gets into midfield muddles as they always do. But my goodness, when they get the ball and they turn it, it's great to watch. It really flows. Love it. Oh, I'm getting excited again. It's brilliant.
GB, it was a well-worked goal. As I said, Dessers plays the pass, it takes a touch away from the defender, and Gassama again puts it away neatly, shows composure, finds it back in the net, and at that point it's his third goal in 4 games at that point. Obviously, we'll touch on later on the adds to it, but again, good desire to get forward in the box and takes it nicely, as I said.
Do you know something, Robert? Like, I'm critical of Dessers, right? And it was critical with him in the Panathinaikos game away from him when he had that chance to bury it and basically just put it out of sight, and he missed it. And I was like, to myself, well, this is why he can't be the starting striker for us. But it just shows you he's the number 1 striker at Rangers right now with that pass that he played in for the Gasman. I mean, it's so hard to time that right and not put Gasman offside. And same way Gasman with his run, just perfectly weighted pass, and the wee man takes it in and buries it. And this is what we've been crying out for. Players that are deadly, players that will take the chance and kill again for us. And the young boy just gets us after the perfect start. And I felt, for what I've seen, mate, the first half, total control, mate. And it was the kind of runs, do you know something? I did think they were going to chop him before he pulled the trigger. But it's the kind of runs into the box where this is what we're needing, Mary. We're needing players in the box, because these players will panic and make fouls. And as we've seen, as they lead on to the end of the first half, mate, we get our just rewards with, what it says, players taking on a player and driving into the box.
Aye, you're right. Just before we come on to the second goal, there was a great chance to make it 2-0. Antman on his debut. Some good 1-2 passing, working away up the pitch. Lyle Cameron, who I thought had a very good game for his debut. Certainly a player I think we're going to see a lot more of going forward. Plays a great pass through the defence. Gassama gets to the byline, cuts it back towards the back post, and Antman looks destined to score, Bridge, and unfortunately for the boy, it's just blocked on the line.
Yeah, it's just, I thought it was a really thrilling game, but for someone like me, I've been watching drivel after Rangers. Okay, they've won games, but watching the play sometimes was just atrocious. But tonight, they were really good. They were, to a man, really, really good. And well done the manager for being brave and making that choice. Because as I said about Suter, it wasn't in my dreams at all, Mr. Suter. I thought our goalkeeper did not too bad tonight. Very, very few mistakes. I don't think he actually touched the ball a great deal tonight, but I thought I was very happy. Throughout the whole team, the Rangers players showed that they can actually play, and we've got an awful lot of young people in that team, and they can all play football. And this manager has given them the chance. This might be a sort of one of these times when you look back and you say, "My God, this was a starting point to something big for Rangers. This could be it tonight." And this tie could be a great thing for Rangers. I don't think MD gave us much chance after the way we've been playing. I really don't. But now, sky high. Especially to see what the people at the BBC say. They've never got a good word to say about Rangers. Sorry, boys.
We'll watch this space and we'll see what they say. We'll see their analysis. Don't get to be as good as yours, right enough. GB, you touched on it, mate. The second goal obviously comes from the penalty, but the lead up to it, it's actually Antman who picks the ball up about 30 yards from our own goal. Picks the ball up, plays it out wide to Gassama, but he continues that run through the middle. Gets played through by Gassama, drives into the box, cuts onto his right foot, goes to shoot. There's a tangle of legs. Is it a soft penalty? You can tell me your thoughts on that one. But ultimately, penalty's given after a bit of a VAR check. And with no Tav on the pitch, up steps Cyril Dessers, fires it home, making it 2-0.
Yeah, mate. Just a player or two players just brave on the ball. That's, I mean, simple stuff. Again, we've been just crying out for simple football. Players want to be brave on the ball, go and take on a man, and there you go. Like you say, it's a tangle of legs. These are the things that change games, Robert. That says just players make mistakes, and whether it's a soft penalty, well, see, at the end of the day, Antman was ready to pull the trigger, and he was put off with the player, with tripping up with their legs. So for me, penalty all day long. And the big man, Big Dessers, again, let's say, Tav's not in the park. He's got a bit. It's a big moment. I mean, when we're going 2-0 up, it does put us totally in the driving seat of the game. So big man steps up comfortably and drives it away, and shows his worth again, Robert. An assist and a goal. I think, like I says, the big man holds that shot, no problem.
No, I agree, mate. I know there's been speculation, obviously, previously, and obviously during the pre-season about his future, but personally, I've always said I wouldn't sell him. I think he shows his worth at times. You know what you're going to get. The work rate, the goal return is, you can't overlook that, if I'm being honest. And he's a boy that always turns up for his work, always smiling. And when other players are getting called out for maybe not putting the effort in, you know, Dessers isn't going to be one of them. So again, he's turned up, got involved tonight, his first start of the season, and as you said, a goal and assist. Bridge, what was your thoughts on the penalty?
Oh, 100% penalty, and it's all to do with that young lad, Antman's pace, and his wee bit of movement. Brilliant stuff. He's a big, tall fella. He's a nice, steady pace. He gets and he can turn it on, and that guy just, leg was in the way. You know, it was simple as that. It wasn't didn't batter him, you know, but it was a definite foul. Absolutely no doubt about it, no doubt. And I thought that. I have to say, take my hat off to Dessers. He frustrates the hell out of me. Sometimes I can feel as if I can batter him, you know. But my goodness gracious, he took that penalty with aplomb. Absolutely brilliant and well done. And GB just mentioned earlier that beautiful pass he gave to the Gazman and put the ball away. Just great, just absolutely great. And so when you've got players around about the Dessers can play, Dessers can feed the ball, Dessers can pick the ball up, Dessers can take penalties, and sometimes he doesn't show as if he even wants to play football. But my goodness gracious, tonight, excellent. Every single player on the park for me tonight, I thought they were excellent. A great result for the Rangers. A great result for Rangers. Could have been four.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, gents. Well, actually, first half review pretty much done. Comfortable first half, 2-0 lead. But what we'll do is we'll get the phone lines opened and hear what the Bears have to say, and then we'll look at the second half. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Certainly come join us, give us your thoughts, how you found the team selection, how you found the first half performance, the contributions of Gassman and Antman. Come let us give us your thoughts. I think we've been joined by our first caller. Evening, Josh.
Oh, good evening, fellas. How are we?
Not too bad, my friend. How about you?
Yes, mate. This is the first game I've watched this season under Russell. There's been a lot said, hasn't there, about the performances over the last couple of games haven't been up to the mark for a Glasgow Rangers perspective. They always want the high standards, which is natural in Scotland. You know, they're only a couple of results away from a crisis. But I thought, like, the lads that played tonight acquitted themselves really well. The dynamism on the wide flanks. Des has had a great game. He was a handful, held the ball up really well, had the confidence to step up and take the penalty. So, from an outsider looking in, fellas, it seems like there are improvements been made. The style of football is more exciting and more dynamic as well. They seem to play out through the feet as well, don't they? They showed bravery on the ball. They made the Czech champions look very average, in my opinion, as well. Like, they didn't turn up with much, did they? But I thought they weren't allowed to have their own imprint on the game. And that was testament to the way Rangers started the game, with the energy and the enthusiasm, got the early goal, settled the place down, and it was sort of all guns blazing from there, boys, wasn't it? And job well done. And barring an absolute disaster, they should comfortably see themselves through to the next round. So hats off to Russell as well for not panicking. He made 4 changes. He was brave enough to take 4 men out the starting line who, they've been pivotal to the success of Rangers over recent times. So, Russell's come in with his own ideas, his own imprints, his own signings. And, it's important to not get too carried away and realise that you're on a game-by-game basis, aren't you? To try and catch up to the other team from the other side of the city who, they've got the resource and the history that goes with it over recent years. But there's no reason to say that the gap can't be closed quicker through performances like that if you just get that consistency with it as well.
Oh, you're right, Josh. Some great points there, mate. I'll take them to GB first. GB, Josh obviously mentions about the dynamics tonight with the 2 wingers, the 2 natural fullbacks, the energy, the intensity. It was all there. But the important word they said is the consistency from this performance going forward.
Yep. Hi, Josh. Thanks for joining us tonight, mate. I think you made a good assessment about the nice attacking football and stuff like that Russell Martin's trying to put into the team. And I think he's just been waiting for the players, mate. I think unfortunately, it's just took too long to get the guys in that he's needed. The Dell experiment on the right side, it's obviously clear now that it was just there as a stopgap, until we got a proper winger in. And he's needed to kick a couple of backsides, where he likes Raskin and Tav. But I really do hope going forward, and I know you'll touch on it, Robert, with the second half. I really do hope going forward that Raskin's got still a place, I would imagine, in this team, a future in it. But for Tav, for me now, that right side is Aaron's. Aaron showed pace, he showed great passing, he showed composure in that right side, and long may that continue, mate. I really don't want it come Saturday that we revert back to the norm. I think we need to run with this now and see where we go with it.
Bridge, do you want to come in on that?
That was a brilliant shout there by GB. But Josh spoke a lot of sense when he came on. We spoke about, excuse me, it takes a few games, or it's taken a few games, and we're starting to see the improvement, particularly for as of tonight. Massive improvement based on what we saw earlier on. But we're now got a good chance of getting through to the actual playoff game. And if we get to that, then we'll take a one step into big money, as they used to say, big money, So we've got a great chance. We've put us on a great position, as Josh reminded us. I thought Josh said a lot of things that were great to listen to. Magic, well done, Josh. And of course, GB did what GB does. He really likes the right side of the game, the right side of their team now, compared to what it was a couple of weeks ago, where it was up and down. But I don't know what to say more than I'm overpraising possibly. So please forgive me if you think I'm doing that. I just feel this is brilliant. I was in the doldrums. Before this game, and now I'm not in the doldrums anymore. It's just magic. I love it. I just love it.
Josh, from watching the game tonight, pal, what part of the team stood out for you the most?
Well, I've mentioned the 2 wide players, but Cameron from Dundee, he's coming in at the ground running. There was an interview with him at half time on BBC. He spoke really well about his own ambitions. coming from a side like Dundee, where he wasn't even training as a full-time professional properly. He was alluding to, and the fact he's come into such a brilliant environment. He's been given the starting jersey tonight, and he's flourished. A standing ovation when he came off. So the young lad's acquitted himself really well, basically, and that's Russell Martin all over. I saw it at Southampton as well. I like to Tyler Diblin, who's linked with my team at the minute, Everton. He's come through the system at Southampton, nurtured by Russell Martin for the vast part of his journey. And that's what Russell's all about. The exciting, dynamic young prospects to build a team and develop a team. You might not see it straight away, like you saw teething problems on Saturday and probably in your other couple of qualifiers. But this is about Russell working out what he's got to work with, what signings are coming in, and then once he's got that blueprint, you'll slowly start to see that style of play, like the playing out from the back, the exciting football, which is probably what every Rangers fan wants to see. Because 9 times out of 10, you're coming up against teams who, they don't show any ambition to win games. They put 10 men behind the ball. It's all about, frustrating Rangers for as long as possible. And even going back to last season, though, they were able to get themselves up for the big games. Like I heard Dessers saying about, like the Celtic games and the European games are easy to get up for, but he's confident that they can take the performance from this now and apply it in the domestic stuff as well, which is the bread and butter. That's what every Rangers fan wants to see, is a title race taking place, unlike last season where they sort of let themselves down with that consistency. Like I always go back to that. Barry came in for the interim period. He reunited your fan base, got the feel good factor back in the club. But now, with all due respect to Barry, you've got someone that sort of earned his nuts in the managerial trade in Russell Martin. He's been on that journey, and being clubs like Southampton brought him up to the Premiership. The style of play failed because he maybe didn't have the tools at his disposal to play that way. But I think domestically with Rangers, he certainly has got the tools to create a dynamic, exciting product on that pitch for you lot.
I totally agree with you, mate. Some fantastic points you're making. The key area you picked there was the wingers, and it was the 2 wingers that combined GB to get us the 3rd goal. Aarons plays a ball inside the fullback. Antman runs onto it again, which we'd already seen him do in the first half. Puts in an inch-perfect cross, and there's Gasman. Back post, free header, pretty much an empty net as well. And it's a comfortable 3-0.
The Gasman's starting to show he's an all-round good player in the sense that he can score with both feet. He can either score with his head as well. So a great asset. And then, like you say, is Antman and Arms linking up. Really hopeful on that, mate. I'm hoping that's what I see most weeks now, is they 2 on that right side, because that looks pacey. And that's what we've been crying out for. We've been crying out for pace and power down that side for a long time. And like you say, it's just that braveness to get down the wing, Robert, and cut it back. And to be fair, for what you're seeing with Ant-Man, he's just wanting to get the ball in the box because he knows there's quality there that will try and put that chance away. So he knows his job. Get down the wing, get a nice cross in, and the rest will take care of itself. And that's what we need to see more of, mate. And it totally put us in the driving seat, mate. Like I say, 3-0 and absolutely cruising. What I will say is, and Josh has touched on it, is that it's hard not to get in front of ourselves. Paulson at times were rotten. The night, and probably, like I say, we were playing the way Martin's wanting to play. It did rip them apart tonight. But we've got to see it the weekend again, Robert. We've got to see that same level of performance in the league. No, we've got to see that consistently, mate.
It's always a key word, mate, isn't it? At our club, it's the consistency. But we'd obviously had a chance just before we got the 3rd goal. Diamonde hits a shot that's very unlucky that comes off the bar. Again, though, the build-up play towards the chance itself. Yeah. It's all about the passing move of the team from the edge of our box again all the way up the park. Desser's involved again, lays off Diamande and hits the bar. Very unlucky.
Not very much so, yeah. I thought he tried the same thing at the weekend there. He was awful unlucky as well, a ball with a bit of spin on it, you know, and it just loops over and hits the bar. And tonight was the same. Tonight was really unlucky. I thought he was even more unlucky than he was. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's lovely play, lovely lead-up play, one touch, and a lovely pass through, and Dessa's involved, and all the great things we can say. You know, can I just say to everybody, and everybody that's listening, please, Rangers, don't go back the way. This is it. This is it going forward. We have to run this way, run with this, and let the fans see what we can do. And you know, but I don't know how we're going to go. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to thumping the ball out of the park and all that nonsense.
Hello.
Hi, Joe. If you put yourself on mute, pal, I'll get you in a second.
Right, buddy. Sorry, mate.
No worries, thank you. Head on, Bridge.
I was just saying, I just don't want, and I dare say most of the Rangers fans don't want to see us going back to any old crap that we had before. We've got a lovely way of playing. Oh dear, a big dogfight there, isn't it?
Joe, can you stick yourself on mute just now, buddy, and I'll come and get your point in a wee minute.
Aye. Sorry, mate.
Cheers, pal.
So,
Carry on, Bridge.
no, you're all right. I'm just about ready to finish up there anyway. I'm just so delighted. As far as I'm concerned, this is the way forward for us. And we will come up against teams that do the same thing, and they're far better than us. And that'll be a real test for us. But they knew the way these young players were playing tonight. Was it Gazman that was a man of the match tonight?
You tell me, mate. Who's your man in the match?
Gazman for me, absolutely. But I thought he might because he scored the goals, you know. But Ant-Man was tremendous.
You get the sponsors man in the match
Right,
at the game anyway. It would certainly be my man in the match, but you could pick a few. After that, the game kind of peters out. We make some changes, which we'll come on to. We'll discuss that further. But Joe, you there, mate?
Yes, mate, I'm here. I'm sorry, but my dog, all of a sudden, he started barking.
No, you're all right, pal. What's your thoughts tonight, mate? Thanks for joining us.
Well, I would like to talk about this young kid, Cameron, and come on, that started tonight. I think he could be. I know it's a big call. He reminds me of Stuart McCall. Not just for the hair, nor that, but big. You know what I mean? He can run with the ball. He's brave. I think, don't get me wrong, we've got a lot of good midfielders in there, and I don't know how we're going to fit them all in, but I reckon if that boy keeps on playing and performs the way he does, they're going to find it hard to grab him. And I don't know who they're going to take out to put him in. Because obviously you've got Diamondi, Raskin, that guy who got subbed tonight, is it Dibble? No, mate, it's not Dibble.
Rothwell.
I keep on forgetting his name. Rothwell. You've got that other kid that came. It's injured, but I would just like to know what the panel think of that young boy, Camel. I think he's going to be a good player for us, given the time.
Good question, mate. I'll take it to the panel and I'll get their thoughts. GB, your thoughts on Lyle Cameron?
Yeah, boy, really hopeful for him. The good thing about the boy is that he knows our league, Robert. So I think he'll do fantastic in the league games. These Champions League games coming up, though, the kind of jury's out for me because we've never seen him at that level. I do think if he gets game time, then he will progress. But as Joe says, there's that many midfielders that can come into that position. We're waiting for Asgard to come back. We've got the boy Moore signed. And then, like I said, you've got Raskin, Diamandi, Rothwell. I mean, there's a lot of places to be fought for. Barn as well was on the night. So they all don't play the same position as what Cameron does, but he's going to have to keep a level that keeps him in the team, mate, because I think like when this boy Asgard gets into the team and the boy Moore, depending on where the managers want to play them, then he could be struggling, mate, to be honest. But like I says, we've got a lot of games this season. We're going to be in a lot of competitions, so I do believe there's got to be a place for the boy.
Just before I bring Josh in, Joe, see when you're not talking, pal, can you stick yourself on mute? We're just getting some feedback from your phone.
Yes, mate. Oh, do that right now, buddy. Right.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it. Josh, what was your thoughts on Lyle Cameron's performance tonight? Joe's referenced him to Stuart McCall, who I believe you know a thing or two about.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that sort of box to box midfield player. But in terms of Lyle's attitude, from a personal point of view, like it was announced last season that he was going to be coming and joining Rangers or leaving Dundee, one of the two. And he, kept his head down, kept performing well for Dundee. He sees this as the next step in his development, obviously, as a player. Probably won't be expecting to start every game. I like all the points from the last person there about, he isn't going to play every game, but, it's that word strength and depth, isn't it? Something that was maybe lacking last season. Players playing 2 games a week and all the rest of it. You need to swap and change people. And he's an ideal player to do that because he's only 22. He's young, isn't he? He's come through at Dundee, the ideal platform to set him off in his career. He's been the star man there, getting all the plaudits, and now he's coming to Rangers. Much bigger pond to play in, isn't it? And I've already said that he stood out for me tonight in his own individual performance. We were talking about player of the match, and yeah, I give it to Gazman myself. But I think there were other components within the team that stood out, and that was certainly one of them. The engine room in the middle of the park set the tone for what was a rampant performance from Rangers, and whether they can kick on in the league campaign is something that we've also touched on in previous shows last season and all the rest of it, because it's all right having these great performances when you're in the European positions or playing against Celtic, but it's about the week in, week out consistency, doing the hard yards in training, keeping your head down. For the likes of Lyle, he's started tonight, made himself an option to Russell Martin, hasn't he? He sort of said, if you're making changes, I'm here. I can put my hand in, I can step in. Raskan will probably start most of the games alongside Diamondi, but when form dips like he did at the weekend, Russell's got no hesitation in saying, well, actually, we're going to shake the pack up. We're going to give them a kick up the backside and see how they respond to that. And to be fair, when Raskan came on and even Tavernier and the others that have been dropped, there wasn't a massive role in performance. It was just the fact that they were sort of seeing the game out at that stage, fellas, wasn't it? So from a professionalism point of view, it shows that we're sort of building a healthy squad where there's that competition for places. Lyle certainly ticked the box there tonight, hasn't he? He was brilliant for my money. And even like I touched on in the interview with the BBC, he comes across as a very level-headed young man. It'd be easy for these lads to come into Rangers and think they've made it, and it gets to the head a little bit, but not with players like Lyle Cameron. You can see like the way he talks, very measured. He has high ambitions for himself and the team, but within that interview, he's keeping his feet on the ground as well.
No, yeah, I remember watching the interview, mate. I seen the one on BBC tonight, and I seen the one he done, obviously for Rangers Media Day. Quite a down to earth boy. He said himself he wasn't going to be the marquee signing for Rangers, but he knows what he can bring to the team, what he can bring to the squad. I think he showed that tonight in abundance. He's not the tallest player, he's not the strongest player, but he certainly puts himself about the park, holds up the ball well, and I thought his distribution was pretty good. Bridge, what was your thoughts on Lyle Cameron?
Russell, a 3-0 victory. I mean, what a night, just to sum up the performance overall.
I think that the young boy played really, really well. I thought he had a good, clean game, and you saw what he can do. He's a very fit young man, and he doesn't get bounced off the ball. For a wee fella, sometimes wee fellas get bounced off the ball. I don't know what height he is, but my goodness gracious, he's very effective, really good player, really good player, good mover with the ball, and he'll make a lot of chances for people. He will. He can get nice passes down and through. He's got competition in the midfield. I think he's right up there. I don't think he would be out of place sitting in our midfield every week. I don't think so. I think he's a smashing looking player. And everybody said it tonight. He's a really good player, and well done to him. Congratulations. You're playing at a level that you never dreamt you would play at. You're playing at Champions League qualification level. which is bloody big. A lot bigger than playing for Dundee, you know, in any league. So then you go, that's how high the boy played, and he performed really well. Really, in fact, all our players performed well, but he played really well. I think he'll stand out for the midfield. Very good for a young man. Very pleased. Well, really pleased for him. Really pleased for him.
We're certainly stacked in that midfield and wide options. But what we're going to do, guys, if you don't mind, get yourselves on mute, and we're going to hear from our manager, Russell Martin.
Russell, a 3-0 victory. I mean, what a night! Just sum up the performance overall.
Well, I'm so happy and proud of the players and the fans and everyone, the staff. It was a really good night for us. Energy, aggression, intensity, moved the ball quickly, and hopefully the players will feel a lot of evidence tonight of stuff that they can really do and do very well. So just a big difference. Distances in the team much better, the ball travelled quicker, runners in behind, way more runs in the top line. And big composure and courage. The only thing I'm disappointed with is my job to be really demanding of the guys. Is I felt the last 15 minutes we dropped the intensity a bit and had too much of the ball in our own half rather than theirs. But that's my job, to be really demanding of them to make sure we learn from certain things. And but it's been a really good night for us, especially after how we felt after Saturday. And now the test for us is to get ready and make sure we can put in a performance with similar energy and aggression and learn and improve again from tonight.
Yeah, did we see very early signs of what you want your team to look like?
Yeah, I said to the players, like, it's what it needs to look like more and more, and we will get better. So there was lots of stuff that we can definitely improve. But the learning they've taken from Saturday, the understanding of why we were disappointed, and what's really important, I'm so pleased with. And that's all you can ask. I think the process for us is to keep getting better and try and improve and learn and understand why we're doing certain things. And tonight they definitely did that.
2 goals for Gassama as well. Obviously scored home and away against Panathinaikos, so that's exactly the instant impact you want, isn't it?
Yeah, the front three were a real threat. So we had way more runs in behind, as I said. More penetration, more people looking to play forward. And we scored a goal from one winger to the other, which is a really nice goal for them guys. And we scored really quality goals today, actually, some really quality goals. And Cyril did a brilliant job attracting players, so other people could run in behind, took the ball in well. So I'm really pleased. We haven't been able to play Cyril from the start yet because he played one game against Middlesbrough, got a bit of an injury, so we've been managing him back to try and get him on the pitch from the start, and he did great tonight. Yeah,
that winger-to-winger goal, that third goal, did that just sum up and typify the attacking play tonight?
Yeah, we need more of that. So we need like the intensity for Gas to run to goal, for Ollie to run in behind, for Cyril to attract the defender. We need more of that. We need more real positive intent in that final third, and we saw loads of that tonight, so I'm really pleased.
Yeah, so many standout performances, like Cameron, Nasser Giga. I mean, you could go through so many, but Oliver Antman as well. I mean, he certainly announced himself to the crowd.
For him to play like that after 24 hours is amazing, and a long medical on Sunday as well. So, and the most pleasing thing is, half-time, he was so keen to get on the ball in the first half and found himself in the wrong position a few times, which we understand the first time. So Gilly, the assistant manager, spoke with him, showed him a few clips whilst I spoke to the rest of the team. He took it on brilliantly, and the goal, I have to give them credit, and Ewan, the analyst, as well. They watched the clips together, and it's a team effort, right? So you have to ask the players to take information on board, and that was really important information because it means we've scored a really good goal. So I'm really I'm delighted with them 2 members of staff, and I'm delighted with Ollie.
It's important to build on this now, just heading into Saturday as well.
Yeah, I think we have to make sure that we play with the same energy, the same aggression, improve again on the quality and some of the bits we had. But we have to make sure we're always like that. So Saturday now is a big test for us, and we need to make sure we learn again and improve from tonight.
Well, again, another fair, honest assessment from the manager. Said himself for the last 15 minutes he thought that it kind of petered out. I think we all knew that as well. Game was over. Would have been nice to have a comfortable fourth and probably put the whole tie to bed at that point. Joe, I'm going to bring yourself back in, mate. Have you got anything to comment on what the manager's just said there?
On what he never said, right? I'm going to a curveball here. No, the manager, the captain's position, right? Tavernier get drafted. To see this is the beginning of the end for Tavernier. I know he's been a great servant, but you know what? Panel think about going to change your captain. I really think they are. Get it? Been called, his name been thrown into the ring, but would be a good captain for us.
Sorry,
He,
you're cutting out there, Joe. Who is it you're asking about captaincy?
He would be good for us. Him had obviously got the armband tonight. I think that's the right move going forward. It's the captain. We would, no disrespect to the Tavernier, we've had 4 bad years here. Let's be honest. No bad years, but I'm the captain for a minute, but change the captain and see how our fortunes go.
I'll take it to GB, because obviously GB is quite a fan of having us playing in that right back position. And if he's playing in that right back position, then you'd imagine that obviously Tav's not going to be on the pitch getting the armband. So GB, Joe mentioned there a change of captaincy. Obviously, if Tav's not in the squad or in the team at least starting, would you be inclined to give it to John Souttar, the armband, or is there another name you would pick?
Well, first of all, I was surprised the night that it was given to John Souttar, considering he's only got a year left in his contract. But the big man's went out there and gave, as a captain, he's gave the Rangers fans a 3-0 result, captain of the team. The Tav thing, we don't necessarily need to gear up to say to Tav, you're not the captain anymore. Tav can still be the captain and then around the backroom team and stuff like that. He can be on the pitch with the training and be the captain and stuff like that. He just might never get back on as a first team starter. He might be doing what he's doing tonight and come on. And I did find it funny, the manager says that the game kind of petered out with 15 minutes to go. Well, in 75 minutes it was Tav and all the rest of the gang that came on. So there's a bit of coincidence there how it kind of petered out. But on the basis of Tav, we don't have to be, like Joe says, Tav's been a great servant. We don't have to be nasty about it. We can still leave him as captain, but when it comes to game day, we can have a different guy, like say, if it's John Souttar, running the ship on the park, whereas Tav can still be captain and let us in the background. I think we've seen that with Newcastle. I think there's a boy, it was a defender, I can't remember his name now, but he done that. He was still the captain, technically, but he wasn't getting as much game time anymore.
Oh, Lascelles, wasn't it?
Aye.
Lascelles.
That's the one.
Aye.
Yep.
Aye, no, you're right. I'll put a question to you then. Do you think if you did strip the captaincy from Tavernier and you still played him, would you see better performances, that he's stress-free of not having that captain role? He can just go and play his game?
I don't think his attitude would change towards the club and stuff like that, but I think, like I said, I couldn't see him doing that role, mate. I just don't. I can't see him hanging about Rangers, no being the captain, if you know what I mean, being on the pitch when it's somebody else is the captain. Even, like I says, if he had maybe a couple of years still left in his contract, you could maybe say, well, his attitude would need to change. But with a year left, I think you'd see him kind of peter out, and that's what you don't want. Let's face it. And games coming up, we're going to need to change Aaron's out, and who better to bring him on as Tav, in a sense, because he's still a good player at the end of the day. He scored the goal at the weekend, as much as he was a nightmare for Motherwell's goal. So the career's not over, but I just think to start the games now, we need pace and power. We're 51 minutes tonight and we're 3-0 up. That's the times to start putting the likes of James Tavernier on, your kind of fringe players on, when you're sitting this 3-0 up. But we can't start Tav in the sense of, again, this slow play and no be 3-0 up by 51 minutes.
Josh, in you come, pal. You get a point on Tav about being in the squad or captaincy?
Yeah, so the first things I've wrote down here is John Souttar's the natural successor. He's a leader for the club, isn't he? I've also wrote down Seamus Coleman from my point of view of an Everton fan. Seamus is the club captain, so in and around the place, he has that warrior-like spirit to galvanise the lads. He isn't on the field a lot because, you know, he's obviously getting older and his performances can't command playing 2 games a week all the time. I'm sort of seeing similarities with Tavernier in terms of he's given a lot of years of his career to Rangers. He's still in and around the club. understands what's kind of expected from a Rangers point of view, week in, week out. So he doesn't necessarily have to play the games to be the club captain. I think he could make Souttar the on-field leader who's probably going to play the majority of the games and has been there long enough as well to understand what Glasgow Rangers is all about and the journey that you're on. And I've also, just on a tangent to that, a lot's been said about the attacking principles of Russell Martin, but the clean sheet tonight, you've built it on defensive solidarity. That was the sticking point last season domestically, shipping too many goals. There was a lot of 3-3s, 3-2s in the deficit column. So, if you can tighten that up and still play the attacking football as well, the best form of defence is attack sometimes. I thought Pilsen offered nothing by the same token, but partly down to the performance and application of the entire team. So that's Dessers holding the ball up, for example, bringing other people into play, keeping all the possession. The wide players I've touched on loads of times about the dynamism. Cameron knitting things together in the midfield, the fullbacks overlapping, creating carnage all over the field, and then the defensive solidarity of the back, the back unit. Jack Butland's an experienced goalkeeper. He had his moments last season where he was dipping in his performance level, but there's no better goalkeeper than Jack to sort of lead that defensive solidarity. And that's something that no pundit touched on this evening, is the fact that, yes, they offered nothing, basically, the other side. They created very little. But I think that was down to Rangers and down to the way they played, lads. From minute one, they were energetic. They were all over the park, closing down right from the front of the field. And that's what I saw with Southampton as well. I mean, the English Championship's a different ball game, isn't it, for the vast part? That's where they were playing the football under Russell. But, to sort of like press from the front, set traps for the opposition, create this carnage that I've alluded to all over the field. That's something that, the likes of your Dundees and teams like that who want to sit in and be difficult to break down. If you can do that from minute one and get an early goal, what's the difference slant on these games from last season where they were conceding the first goal, they were going 2-0 down and having to drag themselves back into games? So from a Rangers point of view, lads, how important is it that after Saturday's game, you didn't get carried away too much with that negativity and realise that you've got 37 games and players coming in, a brand new manager, a brand new team pretty much to bed in. And the likes of Tavernier can sort of still be there as the club captain. That's sort of the whole point on this, is that you don't have to necessarily farm these players out or keep them on the periphery. James, he understands what it is to be a Rangers legend pretty much. He's been there for the vast part of his career through the ups and downs. His goal scoring ratio is brilliant as well. So, there are far more pros than cons, I would say, with that argument with keeping James on board in some kind of capacity around the dressing room and in and around the club for that reason.
But again, Josh, some excellent points, mate. I don't disagree at all that you don't necessarily need to be the captain and being on the park to use your expertise. You can be in and around the squad on match days, training grounds, team chats, whatever it may be. There's still that expertise coming across, and Tavernier's always going to split opinions and always has. But what you can't take away from him is his commitment and dedication to the club. And I think if that was ever questioned, you just look at the last kind of 10 years of his career, as you said, and then if it is to be that he starts taking a phase out into a squad player rather than a first team choice, I don't think he would be throwing the toys out the pram. I think he'd be professional and he'd be given his expertise and guidance and advice to, firstly, Max Aarons in his position that he'd be playing, and then the younger boys coming through and the new signings as well. So I don't disagree at all that there's still a space available that he can have an impact. What we're going to do, boys, we've got an interview with Oliver Antman. We'll just listen to that and see what he thought of his debut for the club tonight.
Oliver, a debut for you tonight. You've only just come in the building, but how special was it for you today?
Yeah, very, very special to play at Ibrox in front of all these amazing fans, and great atmosphere and Champions League match. So it's and a great win. So it couldn't be better.
Yeah, what did you make of the performance from the squad?
Yeah, very good, very good. I think we played some really good football. Created some good chances, defended well, we were very aggressive. there was not really many bad things. So very positive.
Yeah, and for you, how do you feel after it? Because you could obviously see, like, you're so early in your time here, but those relationships were already there on the pitch, and you slotted in sort of seamlessly in there.
Yeah, to be honest, I've only been in the building around 24 hours,
Yeah.
so I don't know as much about things as the other boys about tactics and all of this, but it felt good. I think it's when you have good players around you, it's easy to play, and it just worked out.
Yeah, for the team to have 3 goals to take over to Plzeň next week, how key can that be for the group? Because obviously the ambition is to get through to the next round.
Yeah, I think it's very important, but I think that the job is also not done yet. 3-0 is good, but it could have been better. It could have been 4 or 5-0. So job is not done, but it was a very, very good result.
Speaks well. Again, from my own view, to come into the team into the game tonight for the debut, I didn't think he looked out of place at all. You would think that he's been there a few weeks. Good understanding of players' movement. They knew when he was going to run in behind or come short. Got the assist, was quite attacking going forward, but also GB, his work rate coming back defensively as well. Even at times where with the inverted wing back role that Aarons was maybe caught up the park, it was Antman who was doing the defensive work, which is pleasing to see. And as you said, hopefully that continues. But how refreshing is it to actually have 2 natural wingers both being involved in the goals tonight in their first time playing together? And then if you add Dessers into that, could it be that we might see more goals from Cyril Dessers in this setup with they 2 creative wingers?
Well, first off, the manager spoke really highly. Dessers in his interview there, he was saying that he's not actually had a chance to work with him properly because he through injury and stuff like that. So for the outset, it looked as if the manager wasn't really up for Dessers, but as time's ticking on here, it looks as though he's thinking about Dessers being in his plans, which might upset some sections of the support. But I think, like you touched on earlier, Robert, see the goal return and stuff like that. I know he'll miss chances and stuff, but if it's the way that we're going to play and we're getting goals for the wingers and Dessers chips in with the goals and assists every now and then that's good for me. I mean, that's progression when we'll still have his wins, because that's all I care about is wins. Going back to the wingers and Ant-Man and stuff like that, again, you hear about this player profile that they're searching for the right mentality and all that. And see, to be honest, I thought it was a load of nonsense because you never seem to see it come through the door. You never seem to see the right mentality turn up with our wingers. But thankfully, like I says, I think our backroom team are doing a fantastic job because you look at that left and right side now, that's strong. And then with Dessers up front, that could be a very favourable front three going forward. And then, like I says, we start chucking in the boy Asgard and Moore into that. I mean, exciting times ahead, hopefully, mate.
Josh, what's your take on Dessers as a striker? Again, as GB said, some support think that we need to go out and get somebody that can be more clinical, but 50 goals over 2 seasons, do you see it as somebody to work in this system from what you've seen of Dessers of previous seasons and tonight?
Yeah, like you can't argue with those figures, can you? The 52 goals, but I heard some of the pundits said earlier, backing up what I was saying maybe last season, the goals to chances ratio was a little bit skew with where it needs to be. So that's one area of Cyril's game where he perhaps needs to work on is his conversion rate. But it was vital to see him step up and take that penalty in the absence of Tavernier, the aforementioned Tavernier. Subjective penalty takers, and Dessers steps up straight away as that centre forward. I'm the man. I'm going to score the goal to put us 2-0 up right on half time and sort of give us the cushion in this tie. There was no sliver of doubt that he was going to score that goal under that pressure. He proved it against Manchester United last season. One touch, bang, it's a goal. When he's perhaps got more time to think about things is where he kind of struggles a little bit with that goals to game or goals conversion to chances ratio. But you know, when you're under the spotlight of playing for a club like Rangers, that sort of comes with the territory, boys, doesn't it? You know, if you miss a couple of chances and it results in Rangers not winning a league game, for example, and only getting a draw instead of a win, by contrast to maybe down south, down here, there isn't that like reactionary thing straight away after so-called poor results. But I've noticed that up here with the old firm clubs, it's like as soon as you drop points or you lower your performance level, the fans will sort of let you know about that. And I think from Dess's point of view, he's kind of been told by many people in that stadium over the past couple of seasons that that's an area that he needs to improve, because the more that goals conversion rate improves, the quicker we can see that gap for you guys closing to Celtic. You know, maybe these games they were drawing last season can turn into victories off the back of that. But in terms of his application, his hold-up play tonight was brilliant, and it allowed the wingers to come into the game for the first goal. Gazman played that 1-2, played the ball into Dessers, didn't stop and admire the pass. You know, he went for the return, and Dessers, to give him his credit, there's not one thought of turning and shooting. It was the ultimate team play, wasn't it? You know, he understood that the run was going to be happening, and he laid the ball perfectly off to him. And these are things that get overlooked from a striker in games. Like, strikers are quite rightly judged on the goals they score, aren't they? Like, I was just going off on a tangent. I saw that Jamie Carragher was ranking Premier League forwards the other day, and he put Alan Shearer down in about seventh place. And I'm thinking, well, the mark of a great striker is the goals they score, and that's the stat you give me about Dessers that I was totally unaware of, scoring over 50 goals like that. So there has to be some sort of rationale applied to this, and it very rarely gets applied in Scottish football. I don't know if the lads can disagree or back me up on that, but it seems to be that this cauldron of playing for an old firm club, you know, can have adverse effects on people at times. But to be fair to Cyril, kept his head down, kept going, hasn't he? And with all the speculation about his future, we're on about for certain other players' toys not being thrown out the pram. I think Cyril's been that model professional, hasn't he, by keeping going, and you know, he got himself a start and a goal tonight. So, you know, what does that tell you?
No, you're right, mate. He's always won. We've said it many times in the show that he always turns up for his work, always has a smile on his face. Even the times were tough when he was getting pelters from the stands and the chances he was missing, he was still keen to impress and put in the work rate, and he's overcame it. I think you've seen tonight that although Danilo has had a decent pre-season, got some goals in his game, I think tonight you can look and see that it's still Desser's jersey to lose until maybe somebody comes in that position. But just before we wrap up, boys, a talking point obviously was the team selection. Joe Rothwell got the nod in at that sixth position, came off round about just after the hour for Raskin. Going forward, Josh, I'll come to yourself first. Going forward, who would you have in that defensive midfield number 6 role, Raskin or Rothwell?
100% Raskin, based on the body of work that he had last season. Did he get player of the season as well last year? He was one of the few players that showed that consistency. He was pretty much spot on in every game he played. And yeah, he's gone through a lull at the start of this season with the new manager, maybe working out the different expectations of what the new manager wants. He has been given that proverbial kick up the backside, and I think he'll come straight back in at the weekend's game as well. He's a vital cog in, you know, Rangers' closing of the gap to Celtic and the progression as a team under the new manager. He has to be a starting player, boys. He has to be one of the first names on that team sheet. Form's temporary, class is permanent, and that's all I've got on that, really. Has to be Raskin.
GB, same question to yourself, mate. Raskin or Rothwell in the 6?
The way that Russell Martin's playing, Rothwell's more the kind of sitter, so I would say it's got to be Rothwell. But Raskin's no turned into a bad player there night. He just needs to understand this system. So it's who drops out of the midfield. For me, I don't think Raskin is going to be Rothwell's position. You know what I mean? Raskin's been wanted to play more the attacking role. So I don't know, mate. Last season I would say he was a guaranteed starter, but things are a bit up in the air now with the tactics and stuff like that, and it's getting harder. Like we're talking about Lyle Cameron, who do you drop him for? We've got Asgard, Moore to come into the team and all that. I mean, it's he's going to have to pull his socks up. He's going to have to perform. And I know Rafael's an older player, but he's doing the basics well. I mean, he's controlling the game. He's passing. He's working to instruction. If Raskin's not able to do that, then he's going to find it hard getting into this team.
No, great points, boys. Great points. Josh, final word from yourself, pal. Pleasure having you on.
Well, yeah, the final word is it's kind of job done in this tie, barring a disaster, isn't it? So they've sort of put themselves one step closer to that financial windfall as well of getting through in Europe. The demons of the weekend have been somewhat banished, although I kind of started to understand the hype that comes with being at an old firm club, and the fact that during the first game of the season and letting Celtic in with the early advantage takes some undoing. But I think with a performance like that tonight, they can sort of kick on and try and aim for that consistency. I always go back to that word, but it's certainly true. And that the new guy Ant-Man that's come in, it's a big investment, and it's an important statement of intent from Rangers that they're going to hit the ground running and try and close the gap. They paid £4 million for the boy, haven't they? So that's a massive statement of intent for Rangers. And obviously, he had the trust of Russell Martin to come straight into the side. 9 times out of 10 players that come in like that, where they've had no time to gel and train with the team, they might get sort of hooked after the first half or struggle to sort of keep going in the game. But from minute one to when he finished, he was massive key cog in the performance, wasn't he? So that's where I'm kind of going to leave it. You've got two great wide players. You've got Dessa's kind of reinvigorated. You've got the makings of a decent defence now as well to build from, and a young hungry manager who's come into the big job. And the way that he's talking in the press and things like that, he isn't fazed by it, boys, is he? So there's lots to work on, obviously, but that's a massive line in the sand tonight moment for me. That getting through that game with such a comfortable margin.
Oh, as again, mate, thanks again for joining us tonight. Great points, great discussion with yourself. Next time you feel wanting to give us a call, feel free, more than welcome, pal. Great points.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
GB, final word from yourself, mate.
I just back up what you're saying there about Josh, mate. A fantastic caller, and Joe as well. Chipping in the night as well. So, well, mate, continue, boys. More than welcome anytime. For myself, great win the night, mate. Pleasure to be on with yourself and Bridgeman. And like I says, onward to the weekend, mate. Let's see some consistency, Rangers.
I hear here. Can I just thank everybody for joining us tonight on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. GB for joining me on the post-match show, and Bridgeman for doing the pre-show and the post-show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night, as always, from 8 PM. So come join us then. But if you are listening to this show back, don't forget there is the new WhatsApp voice clip. Feel free to give us your thoughts and your points. Please no swearing in the recording, and if you can keep it under 1 minute, the techie guys may just get your clip on the air tomorrow night. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Good night. Take it away, Fox.